18 weeks, 700 miles, and one goal I set 4 months ago. It was hundreds of early mornings, long miles, multiple races, and the opportunity to grow in my faith, to grow as a runner and a person, and to continue to seek out the chance to challenge myself. This past weekend was not only a culmination of 18 weeks of training, but a goal achieved and a confidence instilled that I can go and do whatever I set my mind to. Good morning, it's race day, 4:45 in the morning. Just got up, got a quick breakfast in. About to do a few stretches and some mobility stuff before I head out. Excited to go out there and have a chance to put it together and go chase after a goal to go out and win. Excited to get after it. Let's go. So this past Sunday, I ran the Oak Ridge to Kingston Half Marathon. This was a no-frills race, which means no prizes, no spectators. I decided to run this last minute instead of the Chattanooga Half Marathon, which I had originally planned to do, because the Oak Ridge to Kingston Half would be a better course and I wouldn't have to worry about travel. So going into the race recap, here's the start of the race. We start at 6:30 a.m., so it's pitch black outside. Got out front from the jump. Here is Will Jeter, who's in second place. Huge shout out to him for a really strong race. So hit mile 1 in 5:24. I've gapped the field here. Again, the focus is on getting out, settling into a rhythm, and just making the pace feel as easy and smooth as possible for as long as possible. My plan was to run the first 4 miles in 5:25, the next 5 in 5:20, and then the last 4 in 5:15 so I could break 1:10. So I'm right where I need to be through mile 1. Hit mile 2 in 5:22. The first few miles were slightly downhill, which made it really easy to feel controlled when I was running at this pace. Hit mile 3 in 5:26, so at this point, I can tell I'm getting into the race, but the pace is still feeling really smooth. The first water station was at mile 3, which I passed on getting. And looking back, I was not smart with water and gels, as I took one water stop at mile 7 and no gels the entire race. So hit mile 4 in 5:26, starting to get lighter. I passed Guard Shack in this mile, which was a popular long run spot for the Tennessee team a few years back, so I was pretty familiar with this part of the turnpike. Hit mile 5 in 5:20. So at this point, I make the gear shift down to 5:20 pace, still trying to stick on that plan. And I was able to take advantage of the long downhill at this point of the turnpike and hold this pace. Mile 6, I hit 5:26. This mile, I began to fatigue some. I tried to have my brother hand me a water bottle and just completely threw me off rhythm. Slowed down a little bit, then overcompensated in pace, and my heart rate just really took a hit with this wasted energy. I hit mile 7 in 5:32. I'm continuing to slip off the pace from being off rhythm, and overall fatigue is setting in. So water station 2 is at this mile. So I take the water, but it's not a cup, it's actually a bottle. So I'm kind of fumbling to get that open, stay on pace. And really, mile 6 and 7, I begin to lose the focus that I had the first 5 miles. Then I hit mile 8 in 5:50, so I completely fell off in mile 8. I talked about that lost mental focus, but I mentally checked out and just let a gradual hill the entire mile just get me off pace and give up a little bit mentally. I had splits for what I needed to hit at miles 3, 5, 8, and 10 to be on sub 110 pace, and when I came through and saw that I was off pace, I could tell that it really affected me and kind of almost gave up. But mile 9, I run 5:32, so I thankfully was able to shake that off, reset, get back into a groove, and kind of change my plan on the fly. So I knew that 110 was out of the picture, but I was just shooting to hit sub 5:35 pace the rest of the miles and go win. This was also the first time that I take a look back and I realize Will is right behind me, maybe 300, 400 meters back, which also really challenged me to stay on pace. So mile 10, I run in 5:36. The uphill that lasted the rest of the race started at this point and it never seemed to end. I came through 10 miles at 54:47, which was about 13 seconds off my 10-mile time that I ran about a month and a half ago. So I was really happy to be holding that race pace for the half. My foot actually goes numb in this mile as I tied my left shoe a little too tight. My left foot is losing circulation. I bring all this up not to make excuses, but just to let you guys in on how the race really went and what I was feeling throughout the whole thing. So mile 11, I hit 5:39. At this point, my body's really hurting. I mean, everything is telling me to stop. You can tell by my form, the way I keep looking down, almost to will myself forward, that I'm struggling. I kept telling myself the real race starts now. It was easy the first 5 miles when it was smooth, but what matters is how you're gonna finish the last 3 when you're beginning to fade and starting to die. So mile 12, I run 5:39 again. I take another look back, which I hate that I did this race. The first 2 races, I had so much faith in my fitness and training and in God that I was just full steam ahead forward. In this race, I was looking back a lot, but I take a look back, I see that Will has not closed the gap anymore, so I knew I just had to hold this pace and finish to take the win. At this point, I had no idea what time I was on pace for, but I was just forcing myself to keep moving forward. And at this point, I'm deep in the pain cave. I mean, I can't even tell you what I was thinking. Sometimes you're so in that afterwards it's hard to recount what happened. But mile 13, 5:33, I crest the hill, I see the finish line. I'm fighting with every step to get there. Throw up my hands to thank God, and I finally cross the finish line, which by the way, the clock in the video is off. But I run 1:12:35 right at 5:32 pace and take the win. I cross the line, fall into the grass. I realized I did it. I set a goal to run a half marathon. I was originally shooting to just run 1:15. To run 2.5 minutes faster was super awesome. To train for 18 weeks where I run 23 miles on my 23rd birthday, I win 2 road races, and then complete my half marathon and pull out the win. It was super awesome and very accomplishing. I'm truly grateful for the race and the chance to go out and complete my first true half marathon. It was a hard 3.5 months of training, and to see it come to fruition and go make it happen was super cool. So overall, the race and build taught me a lot and gave me a newfound appreciation and gratitude for running, especially the half marathon distance and just life in general. It showed me how important it is to live your life aligned with a goal and living with a purpose. But it's also revealed some hard truths. I've not taken any time off since track ended last April, and I've realized I've been trying to live out a failed track dream in this past training. I still have some bitterness with how things ended, and I'm wanting to prove to people that I still got it. So after realizing these things, I've come to the conclusion that I need some time and space away from running. I'm not giving myself that break so I can escape the college athlete mindset. I plan on getting back to running and training, but won't until I can do it for the right reason and with the right frame of mind. The break might be 2 weeks, it might be 2 months. I don't know. I still plan to do group runs and post content on YouTube, but I'm also taking some time off of other socials to just truly reset. I've got a lot of goals and ambitions, but I also want to learn to enjoy life and do things to do them rather than do things to be seen, which unfortunately is where I'm at right now. I'm staying on YouTube because it's the one community where I feel encouraged, I get positive feedback, and I truly feel like the work I'm putting out is making a difference. And so I want to thank you guys for that. Drop some video ideas in the comments that maybe aren't running related, but involve mindset, faith, health, exercise, or anything in between, as I'd love to try some new stuff and see what I can do. And if you're not already subscribed, now's the time to go do that, and be sure to like this video. Thanks so much. I'll see y'all next time.